Welcome to Crypto MC, everybody. It's another day, another little bit of trading on the way. With me is my trade partner, Fibonacci Lee. Welcome, buddy.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. Excellent. Did my job for the day. Can relax now.
Right, guys. Good morning to each and every one of you guys. I want to say thanks and shout out to our fans. We do appreciate you. We do appreciate all the comments that you guys send in as well, and keep them coming as we go. So yesterday was a bit of a tough one. We discussed why and what and all the probabilities, and we tried to answer the questions of the universe in yesterday's stream there, Lee. So today it's going to be easier and a little bit more fun, I would imagine. What do you think?
Yeah, let's try. Let's try to make it fun.
Let's try and make it easier and fun. Okay, right, guys. So what are we going to do today? We're going to be looking at Bitcoin. Obviously, Bitcoin is rallying. So we want to know where it's going to go to, how it's going to go, and the warning signs. You've got profit now. It went from its entry yesterday. So we want to make sure we walk away with the gains. So we're going to be looking at that. Then what we're going to do is, in a market like this, it's time to start trading a little bit smarter as well, because I think a lot of people, and this is something that I've experienced when I started trading, are making dollars, and there's more dollars in my account, but for some reason I keep on losing Bitcoin, and that's a sucky feeling, that gets sucked out of your wallet. So we're going to be looking at that as well to see how we can always make choices in relation to our Bitcoin pairing. So for people that are interested in accumulating more Bitcoin, you don't want to necessarily trade if it's going to cost you BTCs. So there's two schools of thought there. Both me and Lee differ slightly on this. We're going to give you the pros and the cons of both, and then leave it to you to decide. So Lee, buddy, over to you, my friend. Are we going to be looking at Bitcoin, or are we going to do a little bit of talking and admin before we start?
Up to you. You can do a little bit of housekeeping, admin, and then we can briefly look at alts and share our opinions.
Great. And then guess what? There's two coins that we've got something cooking on, and we're going to be discussing them with you guys as well. So let's get ready. Lee, so let's do a little admin, a little bit of a housework. Trading against Bitcoin there's basically two base ideas that you first have to make a decision on. The first decision would be, are you willing to hold your Bitcoin? Are you trading Bitcoin that you're going to hold irrespective of the Bitcoin move? Or are you trading to the BTC pair to make more Bitcoin? And out of those two trains of thought, you've got your strategy is to look at Bitcoin and say, I don't care what Bitcoin's dollar value is. I'm looking at coins that will be making me more Bitcoin. So I'm only staying in Bitcoin, and I'm trading to a coin that will be giving me more Bitcoin, and I'll trade back to Bitcoin. You've got a couple of coins and a couple of examples of coins that you would be doing that. And on that premise, you might then find that you'll be very successful trading, but at some stage, if Bitcoin trends down, you're going to be looking at your dollar portfolio, and that's going to be the one that's taking the hit. Am I correct?
Probably, yes. But the idea first is I didn't care about the dollar value because I wanted to accumulate more BTC. And I think the rewards will come when we are in a bull market, and all of a sudden your whole portfolio is going to gain like incredible amount of value.
That's it. So guys, remember, when you do action, make sure that you have got a strategy behind the action. So the strategy for Lee at this stage is looking at Bitcoin going up and Bitcoin going down doesn't make a difference. He's looking at holding his Bitcoin and just seeing if he can get a little bit more of it. Okay, buddy. So what are we going to be looking at? You've got a few favorites there. I think the first one will probably be SNX, or am I correct?
Correct. Yes.
Cool. I
was actually even looking at the weekly charts.
Yes, because remember, the goal is, if you're going to be holding Bitcoin, you're not going to be holding it for 2 days or 3 days. Your idea is, this is my Bitcoin. It's It's going to be my Bitcoin. So why chart in a 5 minute? You want to see what the big picture is going to be doing. Okay.
So the idea is, I'm just gonna give you a few examples in the past. What happened if I use a simple fib on a weekly chart? And obviously, there is more like analysis that needs to be done. Look at the price actions, reading the candles, reading the chart, and what each candle means. But we're not gonna talk about this today. But I just want to show you these guys. If I look at the fibs that I put here, on that move, we did notice that we made a higher high compared to the previous resistance level.
You're gonna have to zoom in there, buddy. Maybe use that zoom square box to get us there.
Okay.
There we go. Okay.
So price came down. We had significant resistance area at the top of those weekly candles, and then all of a sudden we gained a momentum and we went up. So if you wait for the retrace, come back to this zone, which I marked in gold. It's close to 618 and 786, this zone here. Now, when it wicked to this zone, we had a huge pump, right? So those red line here, I marked it as my TP, TP1, TP2, TP3. I can even add another one. But basically, in that move alone, that took us maybe a year to do that. But basically, in that bullish move for SNX, we did gain. If you tip it too early, and remove this magnet here, that's 275% more BTCs in your wallet, and that is a small move when you look at this weekly
chart. What else there is? Yes. Okay. So this one would have been a brilliant investment to say, okay, right, I'm going to sacrifice some BTCs, park it here, and irrespective of Bitcoin's price. Looking back at that, you might have bought Bitcoin at the bottom there, where the fib is, and Bitcoin was 50,000, and where it's now today, it's 3,000. Irrespective, you would have had way more BTCs.
On another scale, if you consider this as a major resistance, once these two green candles broke this resistance, and you come back and you do this fib from that move, or even you can argue from this one, or from the bottom of this one, because that is the consequence, the move that's already breaking the resistance. So if I take a fib from those bottom here, and next higher high, come back to this exact perfect entry, and then you have a bigger scale fib, and obviously went above that again. So that move alone would have bought you, again, another, let's call it, conservatively speaking, 340% more BTCs in your wallet.
So you 3x your BTCs again.
Yeah. But that is regardless of the BTC value. All right. So now if you do exactly the same, even here, in between, market dropped, take a fib here. Once this candle, 21st of December 2020, break and make another higher high compared to those supports here, or resistance. And now if I take that move here, or even the lowest low, come back to this candle top, price come back, took the liquidity here, and then shoot up. And that is another, from entry, top of my entry here, to the TP3, 124% more BTCs.
25% more BTC.
Okay. So now, obviously, sometimes a move like this can fail. If it fails, it means that we are changing momentum on a bigger scale. But that week here, if I take that fib from the bottom to the top, I'm considering these green candles are breaking the structure of this one, taking the bottom here to this, not gonna to take this top here. I don't know what exactly the price action was inside this week, but maybe it was first coming down, capture the liquidity, shoot up, and then everybody was selling here.
But and now at that stage, you didn't sell.
At that stage, we did notice that we did not break a higher high on a bigger structure. So maybe you take profit and you wait for the price action to give you another signals. Here, when it comes down, we're making lower lows. So there's no use to enter the trade at that stage.
Stay
If you
within
take,
your BTC.
yeah, if you take at that stage here, let's say we are forever bullish, making higher high compared to the previous structure. We took a fib here. There was a consolidation area, make an entry, and price was, moving up. And okay, if we didn't take profit here, we would have stopped out at the white line, exactly at that level here. Now, coming back to nowadays, what do we have? We have a lower low, we have a higher high compared to this structure. And now if I put the same fib, we are actually exactly at the same entry. This week we are hovering here, consolidating within this golden zone, this entry here. And my next TP will be 1, 2, 3. Doesn't mean that we're gonna reach maybe 1, 2, 3, but logically speaking, we will have a reaction up. And if we did not reach the TP, we can always put the stop loss at break even, get out, or we put the stop loss at the bottom here. And if we get that trade right, what is the potential here? 80% more BTCs.
Remember, guys, there's no gains without risk. You cannot have the reward without the possibility of something going against you. There doesn't exist a strategy that gives you 100%. That's why everything comes with a stop loss.
If anyone knows a 100% winning strategy, I mean, I will give everything to buy that strategy from him. But unfortunately, that's not true. If everyone is telling you out there is a 100% guaranteed strategy that is working without any risk or losses, it's not true. It's simply not true.
Okay, Lee, so where are we going to buy? Give me that BTC values. Let's just zoom in there nicely. So everybody
1210. SNX is 1210 at 000 1210. The correct zone is 1249 and 1151. I mean, stop loss will be like at 1008.
Okay. And that's Satoshi values, guys. Remember, that's
Satoshi
Satoshi
values,
value.
yes.
That's not dollar value. Okay, so Lee, at this stage, you'll be comfortable having some of your BTCs sitting in SNX.
Yeah.
Then when we look at that, you'll also want to be thinking about moving it back to BTC at around the 2211 level, 1982, and the 1772.
Yes.
1,772 Satoshis for an SNX. You're thinking about making some of them turn back to Bitcoin. Okay, so that is your DCA out range, okay? And those gray, or let's say, what's the color there? It's a off-whitish color. That's your DCA to get in range. So you can buy within those sats levels. And this would be for BTC that you would be holding long-term.
Yeah.
Now,
we're looking at weekly chart. So weekly chart, this trade is going to take months to fold, to unfold. I mean,
this is not glamorous.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
profitable trading.
It's not a trade for. I mean, I'm going to enter this trade. I'm not going to watch this chart every single day. That's for sure.
Okay, cool. Lee, then show us another one. So the first one is SNX. And remember, guys, Lee posts his charts and these things on the Discord. So you can go and get it there if you don't have a notebook with you.
So I'm not gonna go through the history of Monero, but Monero against BTC.
Same setup is evident.
Same setup. I like this candle here. What we did 1 week, 2 weeks ago, we did went above those supplies here. You give me it tells me that maybe there's a change of momentum here on Monero. Is coming down. Okay, and if I apply the same fib from the bottom to this top here, we did actually went last week. We actually went on top of this golden zone, and even beginning of this week, it was just at the top. So I'm not sure if you're gonna get this entry again on that one. But hey, guys, it's weekly chart. You never know. So if that week that thing come down at 44.40, I mean 42.40, 0042.40 or 0041.13, that will be a perfect area for me to buy with a stop at 0037.89 Satoshis. and potentially
Right.
those targets here.
Lee, before we move on, let's hold them all ransom. Guys, please give us some likes and subscribes. We try hard to make sure that we don't mess it up for you guys. So just give us a little bit of a like there in the like section. It does not change the quality of the content, but it does change the reach of the content. And that's what the idea is here, so that the reach can go out and help more people. Okay, Lee, buddy, you've got two more. Let's quickly speed this up and let's go through comp and keeper.
Comp.
So you're looking at the support that was lost and the fact that we got above that level with a higher high.
Yes.
Okay.
So comp.
There's the higher
high is like 0044, 433, and the bottom of the range will be 406. Stop loss at 00374, and TPs are here. I hope it's big enough on the screen. Or I will share those charts again on the Discord group as well. Okay, and let's speed up. Keep. Let me zoom out. Keep, it's a little bit more riskier in my analysis. Yes, we did have the first range here. Now the best entry was, if you look at this move, it was here. Okay, as you can see on the chart, we did hit the move, hit the zone in a month's time. Was going down in a month's time, and then all of a sudden, in a week time, boom, it shoot up. Okay, but now, if you look at the bigger structure, this candle killed the support or resistance from this area. Now, if I take that chart and I'm only considering this consequent move from that bottom here to this top, I had another move here coming down retrace to this golden zone, and now we are on our way up again to make a higher high. So on that one, small time frame, we see a bullish structure coming down from this, making a higher highs and higher lows. So I would assume that the target for the market makers for this move is to go above 2010. Okay. So now, if I take only that structure here, this white candle make a higher high compared to this structure here. So if I take my fib from that level, from the bottom here to this high, we are right inside this smaller structure move. So it could take 1 or 2 weeks to consolidate within this area. And on that one, I would like to put my stop loss here, because if you lose that one, then we may come back to this 1188 or 962 sets. So this is more like an immediate trade in order to gain this little bit of TPs.
Awesome, Lee. Thanks very much, guys. Okay, so let's take away the gibberish on the screen. These things will be shared with you guys, and hit those likes. And I've been reading through the comments, Lee, and the guys really appreciate everything you do. And we are working on getting more structure in the back end of what it is that we're doing, so that we can be providing a little bit more support on the theories and the stuff that we use and how we trade, and the things that we have invented. Remember, we are trying to be different than everybody else. We have to create an edge. And sometimes it means keeping the secret or not making the secret publicly known. The reason being, if everybody knows it, it becomes like the moving averages. Nobody really makes money out of trading moving averages anymore. It was a hot topic in the 80s, but that was an edge that somebody had over everybody else. So if it's the edge, if it's publicly easily available, guys, always have to worry. And one indicator that's exempt of this is probably your RSI. So only thing that predicts the future is a leading indicator. So there you are safe. Lee, okay, thanks, buddy. So just to recap, guys, for everybody that's in the market with their BTCs and holding BTCs, this is a brilliant strategy for you to keep on making more BTCs. It does not outperform necessarily if Bitcoin dumps with 80% and you're in USDT. But remember now, you're not trading, you're an investor, and your idea is to be holding your BTCs regardless of price bracket. Now, my strategy is a little bit more aggressive. It's based on the same principle. But the idea is now to say that if Bitcoin goes up, I'm working the strategy if I see upside in Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes up, how can I make dollars to go buy other stuff at a later stage and make more Bitcoin? Because that was a double-edged sword. I don't want to be comfortable with just what Bitcoin is doing. So what do I need to do? I need to add another dynamic into my search criteria. But before we do that, let's have a look at Bitcoin, Lee. We've gave a couple of scenarios yesterday. And before we start flipping over onto the next theory, let's do that. Let's quickly have a look at our BTCs. I'm going to bring up my screen, and I'm going to jump over to this chart over here. This is the cleanest, easiest one, I think, for us to quickly have a look at. And the idea was yesterday that we were in the stream. Where was it yesterday? Was it around 11, 12, 1? There we go. Let's just mark that line out. That is yesterday.
We just hit the bottom of the imbalance area, by the way. Huh?
Just okay. So there we go. It just literally hit that. Okay, so
43.5. And people took shorts.
Profit. Okay. So this is where we were yesterday, the orange line there. And what is people doing now? These areas over here, the people are going to start acting out, and they're going to want to start taking some of those short, adding to their position. And you can see how Bitcoin is falling down with a crazy wick like that. So we got the buy, we got the area. So how do you lock in your momentum? So you were here yesterday on the stream, you watched it, and you said, okay, right, I'm going to take the risk with everybody else. So the easiest way is for you, especially if you're new to this, is just to merely track the momentum. Now, what momentum does is it just shows us whether we are still good to hold a bit. If we start open and closing below this area on this time frame, we might then think about saying, well, if I didn't put my TP in there and I didn't sell 60% of my position in the resistance, as we asked, be part of the resistance, what do? We say, okay, at some stage, we will then go and test that. Every spike always has a second opportunity. So when we do that, that's our scenario to exit the market. And that will normally happen on the right-hand side of the trend line. But we've got a different fib for you guys that we can use to just help you guys. If you're greedy and you're looking at, I want more. So let's say you're greedy and you're looking at, I want more. And please don't always be greedy, because the market sometimes punishes the greedy way more than it punishes the fearful. I'm going to use a fib line, and I'm just going to put the fib in there. And we're going to say to you, if you were trading this impulse, your Q to exit was the first time we opened and closed below the 23. And your Q to buy for the first time was the 38.2. Now, why do we like that? And why did we want to buy this zone? Because I had confluence on a different trade strategy that there would be buyers waiting, and on this strategy that there would be buyers waiting. And that's, guess what? We got our buys and the market left. But this is still one big impulse. So let me use my simple fib level. I'm going to put it on that top over there. Can you see that at this stage, your get out of jail area, or not to get out of jail, but you'll be wary and start thinking about taking profit, would be the 23.6 on this fib level, which is at 42,555. Now, 42,555, what needs to happen? First, a candle needs to open below this. Let's make that a little bit bigger. And then close below this. And then what we want to do is we want to try and wait for the test of this line and then sell. So if we can get the test of that line and sell, similar to what happened over there. So for everybody that's currently in this one, please be mindful of this. Set your alerts. I don't want to delete that trend line. Set your alerts and just wait it out. Hopefully we get another push. Lee, what is your theory on this? How do you feel
I
about this?
don't know. I've got longs, I've
we
got short at the same. I've got short at the same time. I've got long at the same time from the bottom and short at that exact top. I'm just waiting now
So
for
you read
BTC
either
to
way.
give me. I'm trading. I'm friend with everyone. I'm friend with the bears. I'm friend with the bulls. You know, so they just give me the direction and I follow them.
Well, for those that watch the supply and the demand video, guys, if you're friends with everybody, Lee, it in theory makes you the bully. You get to be the one throwing the ball, right? And
I'm not friend.
show their
Yeah, I'm
money.
not friend with the retail people out there.
Okay. Remember, guys, Wall Street's got an ugly quote, but it's true. The bears make money, the bulls make money, and the pigs always get slaughtered. So if you're greedy or you are not acting on the rules of your strategy, you are going to get slaughtered. That's how the market is designed to do its thing. So let's see what happens with Bitcoin at this stage. This will also be breathing some relief from some of the alts that might be bleeding. So Lee, what would be your thought pattern? And this is now, I mean, let's take a step back. We've now had that entry there. We've now shared. Let's just undo and let's just say it out loud again. That would be my open close value for now. But if Bitcoin makes a higher high, I have to keep on adjusting this. So for now, that's my level. So 42,555, that would be my level. Okay, so let's say Bitcoin keeps on going a little bit higher, Lee. This is the area where we really would want to exit after the TP2, the 45K area. What would you be doing on alts that's overexposed at that level? Would you be exiting as well? What would be your thought?
Well, I would like to exit a little bit, but I don't know if it's gonna depend really on the chart at that time on which alt I want to choose to exit. If there were some that is pretty good at entry, so I'm not gonna take a chance on that. My strategy right now is to look at some alts and trade against BTC. And obviously, we have done a lot of research this morning to pick up 2 strong alts that we will make hopefully gain in US dollars if the trend is bullish and more BTCs. And we have a different opinion on that, and we will check, which one is going to outperform the other.
The thing is, before the third chart, we kind of were indifferent, but after the third one, I sadly have to agree with Lee. So it's a it's a bittersweet.
No, but both are really good in terms of which time frame you're looking at. You were looking at the daily. I was looking at the weekly. So on a daily, we should have some kind of momentum up and down, up and down. But yeah, and in a weekly chart, I think for me, both are looking really good.
Okay, so this is based on the strategy that 1, Bitcoin must go up. That's it, your first condition. 2, while Bitcoin's going to go up, you're going to be making more dollars and more Bitcoin. If Bitcoin stops going out, stops going up and starts failing and losing levels of support, those coins are going to bleed just as bad. So you have to be flexible and you have to be comfortable with the fact that there is risk. No reward comes without risk. Nothing, no trade is without a stop limit. All right, so I'm going to bring up my screen again, Lee, and let's talk about those coins. But before we do, let's do something else. I want to talk about previous coins that we've shared with you guys. Just want to make sure I've got the right tab here. This is not the right tab. This would be the right tab. I don't find my right tab.
What else was alert, Trudeau?
I'm busy, buddy. I'm busy trading, guys. If you hear a ping ping, there's something happening in the background. We are traders. So we live with those little pings in our ears. I actually, sometimes there's a house being built next to me and they will be breaking down stuff. And every now and then a little ping or something sounds like it. And then I find myself running to the screen, just checking whether it's an important alert. So it can get tedious and frustrating. Okay, so before we go into that strategy, what I'm saying to 1inch. 1inch is one of those where we gave you a buy zone a while back. Now, let's zoom in here. This is the buy zone. The idea behind the buy zone is that we were going to wick into this liquidity that sits over here and do that. It's not done that. It's sat there like a fat bus, not getting up the hill. So I'm not comfortable with this one at this stage, to be honest with you. So the market's not giving me what I wanted to see. So now we're in it. We've got the buy, and we're sitting in the buy zone. So you can't be prejudiced against it, but we have to be realistic that there might be some downside, and this thing might get slaughtered. So what I want to do, and some people will be holding and hoping. I don't want to be hoping for this area. What I want to do is I want to move my stop to the bottom of this level, saying that I bought within this buy range and I'm comfortable taking my punishment if this happens. What I would want to do for what I want to see if this thing was going to move, I'll flip into a smaller time frame and I'll say to myself, okay, what does the smaller time frame show me? Well, currently the smaller time frame shows me that we have made a higher high. And at this stage, what can this thing do? So I don't want to unnecessarily just close it. Remember, there's the bottom of the wick, and we can bring in the RSI in there. So what have we done? We've made a lower low in price and a higher high in price. So within our buy zone, that's given us some strong bullish divergence. So although this thing doesn't look nice on the larger time frame, the smaller time frame within the buy zone is giving me the idea that this thing might turn and become a beautiful chart for us. So I'll be patient with this. Let your winners, give them patience, not the losing charts. Okay, so with this being said, guys, where would I want to be keeping my alerts on? Well, this was support that got turned into resistance, that was support that was lost, that got turned into resistance, that will probably get tested at some stage. Now, when it tests this, it will probably fall below it. So anything below this level here would be where I would start getting concerned. So if we break above this trend line and we start doing this, I'll be fine with that. I wouldn't want to be going below this level here. That's the only thing. Now, all that I can do at this stage is just wait and see. Because if Bitcoin remains bullish, it might add a little bit of sentiment to this and it might turn it for me. But until I get to that point where it's going to tell me I'm going to fail, I'll be comfortable with this one and I'll be patient with this one. So small time frame, it does look better. Large time frame, I'm not happy with this one. Okay, then Lee, let's talk that strategy. I'm going to move back. So we've looked at this coin a while back. And the first one that we're going to talk about is Aave. So I like Aave because why? We had the buy over here.
So the story was like this. We were looking at all BTC charts, and the 5 charts that I shared for Rudo, it was not good enough.
I didn't like any of them, okay? I was
because for him, against USDT chart, it was not looking nice enough and was not ready. Because I was looking at it again, I was looking at the weekly chart and he was looking at 5-hour charts. So he's a little bit more impatient on that one compared to me. Then we look deeper, and we found finally 2 charts that we agreed that it was good to take actions pretty soon. So we look at against BTC chart and he was looking at USDT chart, and this is what he's got now on the USDT chart.
Yes, so this one ticks the criteria. Remember, I said I want to make more dollars and more Bitcoin. I'm greedier in that sense. Okay, so what have we done here? We've looked at Aave. So Aave did have a great spike. Now it's still trending down, but on the last bearish engulfing structure, we did make a higher high. And that can be an early entry, signaling that we might now be trending laterally sideways. So at some stage, if this is the lateral trend, and let's just mark that one and a nice thick red line, and we mark this one over here and a nice thick green line. The argument is at some stage, if this holds, I can expect a higher high to this trend line over here. The second supply zone that I can imagine. So I'm thinking that dollar-wise, this thing can definitely go and give me that before it will come down. These 2 targets on probability-wise is no longer that juicy for me. For now, later on, they might come back. And another reason why I like this one is as an investment, if we move bigger time frame and we go into the daily, as an investor, it's in our reload zone. The upper end of our reload zone, but still there. I like it. So I really like this one. But now what happened is I still want to make more Bitcoins. No use. It gives me dollars and Bitcoin goes up 40% and this thing 20%. So I want to then compare this one to the Bitcoin chart to see what it's doing. And the reason why I'm liking this one is if we look at the BTC chart and we go a little bit a bigger time frame, because remember, I want this thing not to just outperform it for a few minutes. It does not help me. I need to have it outperform for a longer period of time to sustainably grow this. Otherwise, there's too many variables to consider at every given stage. It doesn't make sense. So what do we have? We've got BTC. This thing trading against the BTC pairing has been taking and hammering. So if you were in Aave while BTC was coming down from May last year, you would have had 78% less BTC at one stage. That's a scary fact. BTC halved in value, and this thing halved your BTC in another 78%. So you would have been bleeding. So that's a painful run. But okay, now what are we looking at? There's been a long accumulation. We've been sitting above the support level. We lost it. We got above it again, and we tested, and we made a higher high on the bearish engulfing that we had there. So I'm happy with this one in that sense to start thinking about the possibilities that this then becomes our move to the upside. With that being said, what I now want to see is I want to see us not fall below this green demand level. If we do this, the analysis is invalid, and I'll rather just go back to BTC. And if BTC moves down, I'll go back to dollars. That's the scary thing. What I do like about this is if you look at the way that momentum works within the market, once we are in a correction, that's a set of waves that's called a multiple blend of colors. Green and red, all mixed in an array. How it normally looks when we're trending down is it's correcting as well as the momentum is hurting you. And you'll have small little impulses trying to see if there's life in it, but it never seldom holds. But what this thing is doing at the moment is it's correcting in an upwards trend. So you have the impulse, and the correction starts with some momentum first needing to get shaved off, and then we move down. So that tells me that there's a possibility that this one moves on. And this is where the big move happened between me and Lee earlier today, because we were looking at Theta, which is the other coin, and the BTC pairing just didn't look as juicy. So
no, the BTC pairing is juicier for me. You're wrong.
It didn't look as juicy.
That's my alert.
These alerts are going crazy.
I'm gonna share with you my Aave BTC charts. And
yeah, we're gonna get there. First, let's just do Theta. You're front running me. Okay, so let's quickly do the Theta chart. So Theta USDT. So where to look at to buying this one? So the idea is that if we buy Theta should be giving us a little bit more. More dollars and BTC. So at this stage, what do we have? Well, we've got Theta making a lower low, and we've got the RSI making a higher low. So it's giving us strong divergence. It's signaling similar than what we had with Aave. Theta is just a little bit behind Aave. So if you look at Aave was in this range when it started moving. See, the RSI was going up, price was going down. Theta is sitting there in that similar rhythm at the moment. Price was going lower and RSI is going up. So that's why I believe that Theta is a good buy for us. So what I want to see is if I look at this range of risk that we've got now, there's still an 11% of risk there. So what I just want to do is on a smaller time frame, say to myself, okay, Theta, where am I going to buy you? I'm going to see whether we can just get above this level and hit this imbalance. So I'm going to be a little bit more patient with Theta, because if we can hit the imbalance, chances are good that we'll be on the other side of this trend, trending down on top of it. And then I'm going to want to buy that zone. So you've got a little bit of work to do. It's not a freebie trade where you can just now go and press the green button. Price is probably in the same area, but that's the difference. The conditions are not quite there yet. But this is now the part where me and Lee differed. Looking at the BTC pairing, I'm saying to myself that for me, the momentum is not quite there yet. But the probability if this does shift in Lee's favor, you can make 128% theta on the next run up, minimum as the first EP, because it does look a lot juicy. And then Lee did the following thing, and now I'm going to bring up Lee's chart. And Lee, show us how you make that chart before we move on. And then I want you guys in the comment section to give me the idea which one would you prefer. So over to you, buddy, bringing up your screen.
So yeah, basically the idea of first against BTC, that's the daily chart now. Are we against BTC? It was the golden zone within constraint in this move. Yes, we did break the structure of the bearish one, and there's a high probability we're gonna go for this, fill this week here and then go above that, above this entry. So for me, this is 1, 2, and then we did kind of 3 and 4. Best entry, like we said, the imbalance area is still the best entry for me. And then we have this move. But on the Theta BTC pair, this is my first move for that. And we were also, I think, within this golden zone, and that's my daily chart. Hold on. We also went below, filled the liquidity, and I think Theta is ready now to go. Okay, but now you don't like the USDT chart. So let's compare Apple with Apple. Let's compare Theta to USDT. Divided per R USDT.
So now let's see which one looks juicier.
So this is the chart, Theta against RV.
So if the candle is going up, Theta makes more money.
Green team, yeah. Green team is Theta. Red team is RV.
It's RV. So let's see. What did we get?
If you look at these charts.
Oh, green team, Theta made a higher high and a higher low on the largest swing.
I'm just gonna put this one here. So for me, on the small structure, that was the earliest support here. So we went there. Price can come back here. You're gonna win on a short period. Coming to this zone here, and then we're gonna go for this 23 TP.
So
my stop loss on that one will be 17.
So the chart possibility on this is saying to us that when we look at this, RV might be the one to move first again. Guess what? It moved first the first time round. So RV might be moving first, but then Theta is going to start catching up. And now if we want to look at the Theta versus RV Bitcoin chart, we can see which one will hopefully be making more Bitcoin for us as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a play against Theta against RV. RV may retrace back here. So we're going to lose maybe 7 to 8% against RV. But then the profit, I mean, the perfect entry will be here. It's not an entry now if you look at this chart. Perfect entry will be at the bottom. So I can give you a little bit of a heads up and then come back and win against 30% against RV again.
And the fact that perfect entry is not there is the fact that we said with Theta, the dollar entry is not there. There's certain conditions that need to happen. And those conditions happening will probably then allow this to occur. So sometimes these things are so interwoven, it makes for an interesting means of trading. Okay, Lee, so then we're looking at Theta, but now what is the second layer of our strategy? It's not just to make dollars, it's actually to make Bitcoin. This is the one that we were looking at, and where I said, well, I'll be the one taking the loss today between the two of us. A point goes to Lee because the Theta one proved on that chart, it does look better. So we've got Theta BTC now, and now you're going to do exactly the same comparative chart.
So that, I mean, I'm not that greedy. I'm just going to take, 1, 2, 3, same fib ratio. If you have to do from the entry today, let's go for TP3. That's 38%. And are we against BTC? I mean, your move should be bigger because we are already at that leg here. So let's see if this is the entry from here. We've got more potential if that happened here. But remember, this is, I mean, for me, it's like first wave and this is the last wave. But definitely, yes, Aave is it's got the potential to have 64% more because the move is bigger.
The
But
probability
remember,
of it is bigger.
Theta is one step behind on that catch up.
Got a lot of catching up to do, so it might be different. So, but now Lee, let's compare the Theta BTC chart to the
Theta
Aave.
BTC, assuming we're going up here, tackle the stop, the support, going above support, come back a retrace, and then we will have another move up.
And that's the leg that Aave is in at this stage.
Yeah.
So longer term wise, Aave might be, and the chart that points to that is the one where you compare Theta BTC to the Aave BTC chart pairing. So can you quickly build us that chart?
Theta BTC divided BTC. Let's see.
That's the one. If this was a coin that you were trading to dollar, would you be buying or would you be selling? That's the main thing, because there's a lot of imbalances at the top there. It's making
so if you take
lows.
that strategy and one step further, okay, Theta BTC against Aave BTC, are you saying we're going up or down now?
So that's the thing. So that's kind of where I'm saying, well.
So I'm gonna leave it to you guys. Put it in the comments. Let me know. Are you gonna trade Theta BTC or Aave BTC?
Longer term, let's see which
one. Longer term. This is a daily chart. Do you think we're gonna go up or we're gonna go down from here?
Let's do a 999 for an up.
So
or let's
meaning
up for up and down for down. Let's see.
Let us know in the YouTube comment as well if you watch this show on a later stage. If this is going up, Theta BTC is gonna win. If this is going down, Aave BTC is gonna win.
Okay, now Lee, we've got a few coins we just want to quickly hurry through as well. These are a few alts that I've been looking at. Let me get the right chart here. That's been trending quite heavily. These got a lot of search potential. There's a lot of social media buzz behind these. So let's quickly have a look at it. The first one is Moonbeam. Moonbeam's now new to Binance. And what it is Polka is one of Polka's first projects going live. So I just want to bring up a chart that gives a little bit of a history on it. I apologize for not having it loaded already. So I'm bringing it over. There we go. So Moonbeam's currently sitting at $8.73. And if we move back to the max potential of this, you can see that at this stage, Moonbeam was been trending down, and now it is only finding a little bit of a floor. And we normally like a buying when it's in this range over here. So as an investment, this is getting ready now. The fact that it went to Binance normally then signals that there's always a big sell-off. And that's what happened just there, because people wait. Think of it this way. If I buy my Moonbeam on the pre-market allocation, or I bought my Moonbeam on Uniswap or wherever you want to be buying it, you've got it now. Normally you're trading and you want to get out of it. You're going to be doing it on a MetaMask, and the fees are going to be expensive. So big investors, I don't want to be giving away thousands of dollars of fees. I'll wait until it goes to an exchange, a centralized exchange, because then I'll have access to a large pool of liquidity at extremely low costs. So what happens normally is when price enters these exchanges, those guys move their tokens. That's why they allow the wallets activity before you can actually trade it, so that people can bring in their tokens as well. So what they do is then when that normally happens, there's a sea of newbies on these exchanges saying, hey, this is a new coin. This might do well. They want to buy it. And what happens is they start buying. And then normally what those guys then do is say, well, thank you very much. There's momentum to the upside. I am now taking profit on my first investment, which was probably in the dollar range at this stage, and of even lower. So then they start selling the price down, because guess what? If they start selling the price down, they can buy the negativity. Then everybody tries to sell that was buying, the whole thing turns negative. They get it at a better deal. It's a no-brainer in essence, but if you're new to it, you're not that comfortable with it. So or you're not familiar on the fact that the game is rigged. Everybody's over here trying to make money out of everybody else. So if you've got an edge, you're going to use it to your benefit. So Moonbeam at this stage, guys, is new to KuCoin, new to Binance. But at this stage, it's in an area where I would start thinking of accumulating a little bit of investment. Not in this pump, so I'm liking at this stage. And if we flip into smaller time frames, which is normally not the way that I would like to trade or invest, we had a bearish engulfing structure, and we at this stage have not gotten above it just yet. So your job is to sit and wait and look at the screen and wait for this thing to not make a lower low and to get above that level. And only then can you start saying that maybe we'll have a trend that is going to the upside, and I can start looking at buying a little bit of Glimmer or Moonbeam. Okay. Then another one that's got a lot of attention at this stage is Rose. Rose is doing crazy stuff. So we were looking at this one, and Rose to the BTC pair as well. I mean, from August last year, would have been making you a lot of gains. But what I want to show you guys at this stage,
I think I never sold any Rose.
You still have. Yours is still staked.
Yeah.
I don't have any more. So the main thing is what I want to point out to you guys, and this is an important thing to take note of. What we're doing is we're making higher highs, but we're not leaving our range anymore. And the RSI is showing us strong bearish divergence. It's showing us a scenario that price is going to get to a point where it starts turning. So we might be losing our opportunity to take profit on Rose if we haven't done so. So I'll sell a little bit of Rose, saying thank you. And what are we doing? We even at that stage creating more bearish divergence. This is hidden, but at the end of the day, it's still bearish divergence. So we might be getting a reaction and then lose support, boom, and then come back and never ever get there again. Because that's normally how it works. It trips you up. So just take note of this, guys. And if you're in it, don't feel that euphoria, silly juice, thinking that when you sip that juice, you forget to press the take profit button. Take some profit. There will always be another.
I think I'm gonna go use your 23-6 strategy on that one and think about unstaking them as well.
That would be a really good one. Let's quickly apply it, guys. This is one impulse from around about that level there. So all that I'm going to do is I'm going to pull that line in there. So there it is, 23.6, 39 cents. If Rose opens and closes dailies below that, set an alert to that level, open, closes dailies below that level. Remember the sequence. First needs to open below it. Means it can wick down and then close below it. Then you start getting out, because then normally what we'll do is we will then be trading around these levels, visit the 38.2, and if we do not make a higher high from that, probably go down to the 618. And that, my dear friends, is a considerable gain in coin. Okay. Then another one, Link has got a lot of social media buzz behind it as well. This was the area that we were discussing, and it wicked into it ever so slightly. I didn't get any Link, so I'm kicking the cat in the corner at this stage. But don't FOMO into this one, because what Link is doing at this stage is it's sitting in that area there where it's very close to the imbalance, the reason why we wanted to buy it in the first place. So there's not enough gain for me left in this one. Probable gain for the risk, because there's my stop limit sitting at this stage. So if you're in Link, though, if you manage to grab it and you did get a little bit of Link at that level, get ready, because from $29 onwards, you might need to be taking some profit. And Link on the BTC pairing as well is starting to slowly but surely get to a point, I don't want to delete that, where it's at that imbalance. So Link outperforming BTC, because it's one of a few that was moving, is getting to a point where if I was in this, I would be selling it. So please take some profit on your link. Don't let your gains go wasted. Right. Immutable. I don't want to do it on this chart. Sorry, let's move back to this chart. So we're going to Immutable X. At this stage, it's new to KuCoin. And this is still in that scenario where it just got to KuCoin, a lot of liquidity, a lot of noobs, because that's where you start trading. In the end of the day, don't be negative. But what we're getting at this stage is we're making lower lows and the RSI is tracking up. So this one I'm liking because it's getting to that point where it's giving me an inkling that there might be some strong bullish divergence in play. What do I want to see if I want to be safe? Well, there's the last bearish engulfing structure. I want to see price make a higher high. And once I have that, similar to the way that we bought this Bitcoin trade over here, similar to that, same analysis. I don't need to be hasty. Don't need to wait for try catch a falling knife. I'll grab that trade. And guess what? I'll still be making some money on that one. So that's immutable. And then Near's at this stage is doing exactly the same, guys. I just want to show this to you. Look at that RSI. Don't get blind greedy. Don't think it's going to last forever because nothing actually does. But enjoy it as it's going. Maybe use that 23.6. That's the impulse of the wave. And there is your get out of Near because you might get it at a better price level, which is at around $14.95. That's it from my side, Lee. Thank you very much, buddy, for everything and sharing your thoughts. And maybe you would want to close it out for us, and then we'll see you guys tomorrow. Oh yeah, please hit like, right?
Yeah, thank you for the fun. Thank you for being here with us every single day. And if you appreciate the content, please hit the like button. That's all we're asking.
Cheers, everybody.